Hey guys, welcome. In this video, I'm going to be going over my top 3 tips for new players to 2004. I started playing around 2 weeks ago, and I planned for this to be a second monitor game while I grinded out leagues. As time went on, I found it slowly becoming my main game. I love the pacing, nostalgia, and the satisfaction of earning each level. As a new player, there are some of the things I wish I knew before starting. I'm still learning myself, so bear with me and help out with the players in the comments below with your top tip. So let's get into it. My first tip will be to get out there and make some GP. There are no bots in 2004, which means low-level gathering skills can be quite profitable. This will then give you the cash to go on to other skills and invest in your levels. Method number 1 is fletching arrow shafts at drain and mana. This is a great early game money making method. It gives you some early fletching and woodcutting levels while making a tidy amount of profit. The rune axe can be used from level 1 woodcutting to speed up at the early chopping, and the arrow shafts sell for 20 GP each, giving you a rate of 216k GP per hour. Method number 2 is mining rune essence in East Varrock. Another great moneymaker, giving you some downtime to AFK a little bit in between bank trips. This is a much more chilled method for when you can't give the game 100% attention. Rune essence is in high demand as there are no bots in 2004, and rune crafters are desperate for the essence. Upgrade your pickaxe when you can with the money you make from the essence, and this is where I personally made my first million in 2004. Method number 3 is picking flax and spinning it in Seer's village. This is a fantastic money and a great way to get some early crafting levels. Much more click intensive, but well worth it for the early game cash. Bowstring is in high demand for the same reason as the essence. There's no bots. I chose this method to get the early crafting levels out the way to be able to make my own jewellery. Okay, moving on to my second big tip. I would highly recommend you doing what I did and use the money you make from these money makers and put it into some runes. Your magic level is super important as it's the best way to navigate around the map. Getting 51 magic was my first main goal, as I wanted to be able to get back and forth between east and west side of the map. I personally started off by casting combat spells on low level monsters to get the early magic levels. You can do this on goblins, cows, or even chickens around Lumbridge. I then moved on to doing some teleporting to get through the levels a little quicker, and at the time it came out at a similar price. Another thing you can do on top of this is superheating iron ore that you mine. All you need is some nature runes, a fire staff, and the iron ore. Finally, if you plan on getting thieving up to a high level, it is massively recommended that you keep your combat level below 46. This is because after going past this threshold, you can no longer left click Ardougne Knights when you get to 55 thieving. This is huge as it becomes way more click intensive to train and far less AFK. And you do this method all the way to 99 and it gets you a lot of good starter GP. Also, when you do get to 55 thieving, pay attention to your hit points. I've already had a few deaths here, losing my stolen GP. There are most likely going to be other methods coming to the game in future updates, so don't beat yourself up too much if you've already gone past this combat level. So this has been my top 3 tips for people coming fresh into 2004Scape. There are plenty more, some of which I'm still figuring out myself. So drop your top tip or any corrections in the comments below. Thank you for viewing my first video in 2004Scape, and I hope you all have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.